So, as one of the first proper YouTube videos we've done for a long time, I thought it'd be good to sort of put out what our vision is, where the club came about from, what obstacles we're facing in the running community in this region and wider, and how we're tackling those obstacles. I think it's good to do a little bit more media, I guess, as the club's expanding geographically and basically more members, and it's a good way to get messages out there across this channel. So yeah, like why did we start? Why was NEP created? So NEP was created back in 2018. So coming up 6 years ago now. I've been coaching since then, and I was 18, 19 at the time. And yeah, I always wanted to do this as a job from the age of probably 14, 15. Because as I was growing up, I realised there was a lot of problems in the running community, and I thought I could offer quite easy, quick win solutions really. And I guess since I started coaching, especially coming out of the COVID era, more and more people are doing this kind of line of work. It's a good way to start a career, I guess, to coach people. A lot of it being online. Now, I'm sort of half online, but mostly actually coach in person, whether that be one-to-one groups or S&C sessions. So I'm very much hands-on, but it's becoming a bigger online platform as well. Because also there's other barriers, which I'll talk about in this video, but like time pressures for people, and it's kind of a different world as it was to 30, 40 years ago, when maybe the distance running in this country was at its peak, and the same kind of coaching setup doesn't work anymore. That's pretty clear. But I guess the main reason why I started it was to improve the standard of distance running in the Northeast. Now, since then, it's expanded to a bigger area, and we coach people around the world, not just the Northeast, and they're quite happy to be involved in that, even though they're not part of the region, which I find cool. But yeah, I guess like the main thing is to get as much out of people as possible, and for all of us to say when all this is said and done that we got everything out and as close to our potential as we physically could. Yeah, that's what we're about. But what kind of obstacles are we facing, or what obstacles have we faced going through the years? I guess the big things are in the running community is the lack of time investment in athletes. There's more runners now, more than ever, but the quality of coaching per runner is worse, or really hasn't progressed in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, because there's just not enough coaches really. There's not enough people putting the time into the sport, and there's not enough educated coaches sharing the right information. Which leads on to the next thing. I guess there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. There's a lot of videos on Instagram, Facebook, sharing all sorts of different theories on running. And for a lot of people, it's quite seems complex, and it's a lot of distraction as well. People end up flipping between one strategy to the next, and spending block after block, year after year, going around in circles really, and not making any progress because they're just seeing all this different information. Some of it true, some of it not true. And yeah, it just muddles people up really. So that's a big obstacle I think that really we're facing, and trying to get people to look at the right information is very important. Big thing I see as well, another obstacle is people setting low ambitions and low goals. I'm not saying that people used to set bigger goals in the past, but I think the biggest thing I spend my time on in this club, or people I coach, is trying to get people to be more high performance and to think higher of themselves and to set bigger ambitions and bigger goals. Maybe that stems from lack of belief in people, lack of lower self-esteem in the population. I'm not too sure, or maybe people are just not too sure how to achieve those goals. So it comes back to education. And education is one of the biggest things that we're trying to implement in this club. It's not just about telling you what to do, it's about telling you why you do it, how to do it, and what the gains you're looking for. And then another barrier which we are constantly tackling is time management and life stresses. People are now not necessarily working just 8 hours a day, or the same 8 hours. It's shift patterns, it's people are taking the work home, or they're working from home and they're just working all day, they're working longer, or commute times along with traffic, and there's so many different issues on that. So it comes to the point where people can't follow the general club structure of meet on a Tuesday, Thursday night at the club, or follow these plans that are made on the internet that just give you 12 weeks and you got to do this day, this day. It doesn't really work with shift patterns and things like that. So you need that bigger personalisation element. There's loads of people in that position, and increasing numbers as well. And I guess the other point is lack of opportunity. Lack of opportunity to do altitude training, lack of opportunity to do training weekends away, lack of opportunity to do strength sessions with someone, S&C, all sorts of stuff like that. So we're passionate about giving as many sessions in the Northeast as we can deliver, and online as well. So what things are we actually doing to tackle those problems? So number one on my list is education. We spend as much time as possible educating people on the running science. So I've got a degree in exercise science, in physiology, biomechanics, psychology, anatomy. So I did that. I've been involved in running for about 16 years. I'm only 25, but I've read a lot of stuff and constantly reading and adapting my own training methods as a runner and a coach. But I'm very much a student of the sport as well, and I'm passionate about that. And I'm never going to give out training that hasn't got a scientific backing, and I'm very passionate about that. It's hard enough for people as it is. You've got to be able to do the right work. The other thing is we set club standards exceptionally high. I'm very passionate on making sure that what I want from people is a very, very high level, not necessarily based on ability, but based on their attitude, how they show up, how they approach things. In Northeast Project, there's a very good high standard of kind of going about yourself, which I don't think is in other setups, and I think that's a very important thing to keep in there, because that's what gets results, and it makes you a more high performance person as well. A lot of the techniques that we use in this club transcends beyond running. We are trying to make people more high performance in all aspects of their life, because we understand that it's not just the running that they need to focus on. They need to get everything in their life working well for the running to be working well. Very important aspect. Which we tell the truth, I'm not looking to get likes, or I couldn't really care about likes, couldn't really care about how many people you can see this video really. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in helping people to be the best they can be. I'm not interested in attention or all that stuff. I just want to tell the truth, give people what they need. What we focus on primarily is also just giving out good plans, good personalised plans that fit around people's schedules, and listening to what people can do, but also pushing the boundaries on what people can do. It's not just saying, oh, well, you can only do this. Well, can you actually do a bit more? Always testing people as well. We're not just sitting back and saying, accepting maybe their limits. But the two big things that I say, and what I see a lot of people not doing, coaches out there, online, in person, is investing. The two main things in coaching is investing time in the athlete and being there, being present for the athlete. Without those things, your coaching means absolutely nothing, because the people can't come back to you for advice. You're not there in times of difficulty or in the highs and lows. If you're not investing your time, you're probably going to cut corners, and you're just going to give out anything generic. So I put in as much time as I can to each individual athlete, which is why the numbers are capped in the club, because we're focused on quality over quantity. So what lies for the future for the club? What's our vision, and how do we push on from the really good base that we got already in 6 years? 120 members spread out across a big area, a lot of active. Everyone's active in the club. Everyone in the club is an active member. There's no inactive members not training and following a plan. That's something I stick by. That's one of the standards I set. But how do we kick on? I guess I want to keep doing stuff that we've never done before. I want to make more and more people high performance who I come in contact with. So these, and bring in more opportunities for people as well. So like things we've done in recent years, altitude training, taking people to altitude camps. 10, 20 years ago, very, very few people had that opportunity. Now it's becoming more common through coaching setups like this. Also taking people on training weekends, more closer to home, which really is quite low cost and quite accessible for pretty much anybody. And I try and put those on every couple of months, especially in the north of England where we're based. I'm very passionate about that, and I think people get out so much from those training weekends of mixing with other athletes, younger, older, sharing that knowledge and enthusiasm. I think that's really important. And I guess like my big vision is to be anything but traditional and to be progressive. So I'm always learning and educating myself and educating others on newer techniques. And I guess there's a big theme at the moment in how more the elites are training, and a big shift I would say in the last 10 years, and we're definitely taking up on that and implementing that into the busier lives of people. Obviously, we're not dealing with elite athletes currently. Not that these people in NEP, you guys can't be elite athletes, but in the sense that you go to school, you go to college, you have a job, and you've got other commitments. So it's attaching those training methods to that, which is much harder because you don't have the recovery. So it's slightly different, but we're seeing big themes in the last 10 years of how training's evolving and how the records are going. And it's not just the shoes, but it is training techniques as well. And we're always trying to adapt that to our schedules, so always evolving in that sense. But yeah, I think the main vision is to give people that opportunity to be high performance, to give them physical opportunities to do things they've never done, altitude camps, training weekends, taking them to the big city races, London, or people going abroad, cross-country opportunities, track opportunities, bringing people back from injury, comebacks, taking people to the biggest breakthroughs that they've ever done in their life. And maybe if you're only here for a year, or you're here for 5 years or whatever, I want you to be able to say that your time at NEP, you were the fastest you ever were, you got the most out of yourself you ever did in the time that you were here, and you achieved the most that you ever have whilst you're at the club. And that would give me a lot of satisfaction, and hopefully some memories for you that can last forever. So that's, I guess, what we are about in a nutshell. And yeah, that's what we're striving for as a club, and always evolving.